I was on Grace to smoke some crackers. She got royal about it. No, thank you, she said in her slippery Grace Jones accent. I kept making the case. Eventually, she came around. Baby, misery loves company. But I'm sorry, I can't have company. My mama ain't home. I could tell the eyes of the crowd were on me. I walked past the cake. Gina 23, Arlene 21. Found Arlene and took her hand. You're with me from now on, I said. Arlene was smiling, but some of the eyes in the crowd narrowed. Gina's especially. She wanted half the attention, and for a minute there, she had closer to none. Arlene went out with me after the party, and when we came back, Gina had put all our stuff out in the hall. Pause. When I tell you I loves my subscribers and my Patreon members and my YouTube channel members, because y'all always gives the girl the tea when she misses it. One of you told me that this girl Gina is the same Gina that Randy Jackson and Janet Jackson tried to kick in the butt down there at Joe Jackson Enterprises. I didn't have a home anymore, not really. The tax debt was still hanging over me. Sometimes the amount was $2 million, sometimes $3 million, sometimes more. Whatever it was, it didn't seem real, and it seemed like someone at the IRS was just waiting for me to make a deal. Until we got to that point, I needed to find a place to stay. Baby, like I said in the video before, it ain't no way in the world I'm about to shack up with an egg that don't have a place to live. Girl, you 21. You're a Soul Train dancer. And I looked up her name. Her name is Arlene Bailey. Voice is beautiful. Okay? And you about to waste your good 20s with this junkie? That makes me sick, because you knew that damn girl really didn't have any proper guidance at 21 years old. You knew that. And I'm pretty sure his sentiment, what he felt about Gina being jealous or envious of her because she's hanging out with Sly, I'm sure he communicated that. You can't listen to them girls, only listen to me, because they're jealous that you're with me. You, nigga, you don't even have a place to live. And on top of that, you a junkie. But she's so young, she don't know better, baby. At first, Arlene and I went out to the valley, to the house of a drug dealer. You wouldn't have known that he was a dealer from the looks of his place. He seemed like a regular suburban dad, wife, newborn baby, car, and lawnmower in the garage. Pause. It makes me feel like she might be into drugs herself. If you hanging out with this dude and you okay with running around with him homeless. We went from there to another dealer's house and another's. Some of them were fans and tried to connect me with other singers who were using, like they were the producers. After a little while of bouncing from place to place, I got hold of Ken Roberts and explained my situation to him. Had girlfriend, needed place to stay. Ken put us up in a bungalow at the Beverly Hills Hotel. See what I mean? It be a lot of times where you have situations where you just have rich motherfuckers that want to sponsor addicts. Rick James had that same issue. And of course, the girls that was hanging around the millionaire wanted to go on to Rickety James, but he comes into the story soon. Just hold tight. We were there for a month, maybe more. One afternoon, Rick James called. He wanted to come over and party. At the time, he was one of the hottest stars around, and I didn't like the idea of him meeting Arlene. See, Sly is a piece of work. He is full of jealousy and envy and addiction. It could be that paranoia from doing all that boogity sugarty, or it just could be him as a person and who he is. We were there for a month, maybe more. One afternoon, Rick James called. He wanted to come over and party. At the time, he was one of the hottest stars around, and I didn't like the idea of him meeting Arlene. I was worried that he would see her and like her and try to take her away. I told her I needed her to run an errand to pick up a jacket in a distant part of the city that I knew would take hours to do. She looked at me a little weird, but I looked back at her normal. Okay, she said. Rick came by, hung, partied. He left, and soon enough, Arlene came back with the jacket. Remember, party means get high. About an hour later, the phone rang. Arlene answered. Who is it? She said. She handed me the phone. It's Denise, she said. I knew a girl named Denise, but it turned out it wasn't that girl. The voice on the phone said her name was Vanity, and that Rick had noticed that I was all alone and wondered if I needed company. Bitch! I know you fucking lying. Now, you know Prince stole Vanity from Rickety James. That's right. Pleased to meet you. I still won't tell you my name. I know you not trying to tell me that Rickety James sent Vanity over there to hunch on broke ass, homeless, junkie, Sly Stone. Not that Rickety James ain't the same thing. It's just that Rickety James is at the pick. The mountain pick. The voice on the phone said her name was Vanity and that Rick had noticed that I was all alone and wondered if I needed company. Did I want her to come over and hang with me? If I need anything, I'll call you back, I said. I turned to Arlene. I don't know who Denise is, I said. But that girl said her name was Vanity. Arlene was shocked. She told me that Vanity was the hottest girl around, a singer with Prince who had been on the cover of Rolling Stone. I shrugged. That made Arlene happy that I wasn't interested in giving the hottest girl around the time of day. Bitch, I know you fucking lying some more. Baby! Sly, bitch! Sly. So you mean to tell me, that's right, pleased to meet you, was with Prince, but still selling pussy or giving it away for Rickety James? The Beverly Hills Hotel lasted for a bit, and then Ken moved us to the Oakwood. The Oakwood was an apartment complex in Toluca Lake, a series of blocky beige buildings with balconies. Ken found a 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor facing the parking lot. It was 1,000 square feet or so, fully furnished, even with pots and pans. Drugs stayed in the picture. I would either buy the coke already in crack rock form or buy powder cocaine, shake it up in a little bottle with baking soda and 151 proof rum, and cook until it turned to rock. Rum? That's what they cooking the crackers with? I didn't like that kind of user, and I didn't want to be one of them. I wanted to do something to stay productive. I would get high and record. I turned Arlene into an engineer. I taught her to plug in the equipment, mix the master reel down to a slave reel, synchronized. She didn't understand everything at first, But I taught and she learned. Well, thank you, God. I'm sure she was able to use that skill when she started singing. Because she did start singing. She has a beautiful song too, I can't lie. Oakwood wasn't the kind of party that Novato or Bel Air had been. I didn't have the space or the money. Some people came around to see me. Mark Davis from Warner drove his big Mercedes over. He was still flashy and loud. Lou Gordon was there, reminiscing, telling story. Remember Mark Davis? Remember when Sly and George Clinton was in the limousine with Mark Davis, and Sly thought that he was shallow, and George Clinton still ended up signing with the dude and created Atomic Dog and created an atomic amount of money. Other times people came to stay. Rose was between relationships. Bubba was long gone from her life by now and needed a place for herself and her daughter Lisa. I got an extra room, I said. Rose and I understood each other. She didn't intrude into my world and I didn't intrude into hers. I made sure to go behind closed doors to use. There was a kid around. Cynthia and Fune came to live with us for a few months too, when Cynthia was trying to save money for her own place. Going out could also mean a party at someone else's house. I remember a party with Herman Rarebell, the drummer for the Scorpions. Grace Jones was there with her boyfriend Hans, who turned out later to be her boyfriend Dolph. I was on Grace to smoke some crack. You dirty bitch. And Grace was like, what did I tell you? I don't want to smoke none of that shit. Get out of my face. But he kept pressing it. So if you pressing Grace to smoke crack, I know you pressing that little girl, Arlene. Arlene Bailey. Did he have you smoking the crackers? Going out could also mean a party at someone else's house. I remember a party with Herman Rarebell, the drummer for the Scorpions. Grace Jones was there with her boyfriend Hans, who turned out later to be her boyfriend Dolph. I was on Grace to smoke some crackers. She got royal about it. No, thank you, she said in her slippery Grace Jones accent. I kept making the case. Eventually, she came around. And baby, misery loves company. But I'm sorry, I can't have company. My mama ain't home. I kept making the case. Eventually, she came around. I'll try it, she said. I don't like it, she said. I couldn't believe it. Who did it once and stopped? Another night, another party, Ike Turner put his shadow into the room. Since he had arranged for the drug dealer, we decided he could have his pick of the girls. I told Arlene to take everyone in the back room so Ike could make his choice. It turned on him good, because Ike wanted his woman. I want you, Arlene, you. No, Mr. Ike. Not me. I belong to Sly. Them. No, I don't want them. I want you. Arlene came running out the room like, Ickety, Ikety, want some of me, Papa? She was so upset. Ike was upset. He don't understand why he can't have what he want. Didn't he bring the crackers? Well, I can't have the bitches I want, and I want your bitch. Sly said he finally got Ike to calm down and pick another woman. And then let me tell you something else that he said about Ike Turner. That Ike Turner had like a presence about him that made people uncomfortable. But he dealt with him because of the fact that he had the connections to the crackers. Ken Roberts engineered the sale of my catalog to Michael Jackson, the rest of my catalog. Michael had brought up some of it a few years earlier. Ken added up all the cash he had put out for me over the years and decided that this was a good way to recoup. Yeah. The fuck you think? He's just going to keep giving you money? Girl, some people said we were letting it go for too cheap, but it made sense to me because I didn't understand how old songs could make money. As far as I was concerned, it would have to be new songs doing the earnings, getting back on the charts, or nothing. I was closer to Michael's brother, Jermaine, who was married to Hazel Gordy, Barry's daughter. Baby, let me tell you something. This part is full of tea. I just can't understand this. Why did he wait to this part right here? Like, we're almost to the end of the book to tell all the Hollywood tea. I'm lost about this. But anyway, what he said was he would tell Hazel, because he was good with Hazel, because he had established a relationship with her father years earlier. So what Jermaine would do was when he would go out with all the other hoes, he would tell Hazel, I'm about to go over there to Sly House and hang out with him over there. And she's so stupid. I would say to myself, what you hanging out with him for? He smoked the crackers. Jermaine, are you smoking crackers? After a while, I guess Sly got a conscience and decided that he didn't want to lie anymore to Hazel about being with Jermaine when Jermaine is out there being Jermaine. Jermaine was grateful. He would bring me gifts as a reward and encouragement. I got a nice mixing board that way. Once the arrangement was in place, he wouldn't even come by Oakwood. Just call me before and tell me that he was interested in a studio session. That was my cue to know what to do when Hazel called. One night, I was in the bedroom working on a song and I heard Arlene calling me. I turned down the music. What? I said. It's Jermaine Jackson, she said. He's calling from London. What about? I said. He wants to give you a gift, she said, coming into the room with the phone. She pushed it towards me. I'm not talking to him. Hang up that goddamn phone. But he wants to give you ... Forget it. Hang up. She did. I could tell that it hurt her to hang up on Jermaine Jackson with his voice still coming through the line. But I had to set a limit, and it worked. He stopped asking me to cover for him after that. I would say that drugs didn't affect me too much, but I didn't have to be around me. Other people did. And they said that my mood changed from cocaine, that I would start a fight based off something someone had said a day ago, or rush out of a back room with a dark look on my face like I needed the rest of the place to be silent or else. It kept my energy up, kept me intense, kept me thin, kept me in constant motion. One afternoon, another knock at the Oakwood door. It was Kathy Silver. I hadn't seen her in a while. She still had the same long hair and a long story about our past together for whoever would listen. She liked to remind Arlene that she was the one from Madison Square Garden. Kathy was bringing Sylvester Jr. around. She wanted him to see me, and I wanted to see him. But the goal was also to let him spend time with Fune. They were brother and sister, but hadn't met much. By this point, he was 12 or so, and she was 10. They got along great, which I'd like to see. Kathy wasn't just reuniting the family. She also had some professional ideas. I can help you get a deal with A&M Records, she said. Her father had been a producer, and she knew John McLean, the exec who was running the label. John had grown up around the music business, gone to school with the Jacksons, worked with the Silvers, written for Lionel Richie. A&M was riding high at the time with acts like Janet Jackson. Kathy thought I would be a good addition to their roster and told John, who told her, to see if she could arrange something. Not one of the ones I had already finished, but a new one I was calling Exp0zing automatic. When John McLean heard it, he offered me a deal for a single, which I knew could lead to more. We met in Herb Albert's office. Herb was the A in A&M, the guy who had founded the label with Jerry Moss, and he went absolutely nuts over it. This is big, John said. John McClain set up another song. Jesse Johnson, the Times lead guitarist, had a song on his new solo album, Crazy, that John thought would work as a duet with me. Jesse and I got together to record. I played him some of my new songs, which he loved. He started telling reporters about them and even said that he was going to produce my next record for me. When it was clear that Crazy would be a hit, A&M made a video for it. He said it was just, it wasn't nothing special. But you know, back then you had to make a video for it to go boom. We weren't at the Oakwood anymore. Ken Roberts had called to say that we need to get gone from the place.